Our butter and sugar is light and fluffy. We'll add flavoring to our eggs and then beat. Okay. After beating your eggs, you add in your eggs and alternate with flour. The next procedure after mixing our batter is to fetch some portion and color. We'll pour in our red food coloring. Okay. After pouring the white vanilla butter, then you add in your red. Then you pour in the vanilla butter again, and then you tilt your pan to ensure your butter is leveled. Then you preheat your oven and take in your pan to bake the cake. To train children, you have to be their mother and also a teacher. You have to give them that confidence to see you as their mother. They should be able to talk to you when they come for training, because if they don't have confidence talking to you, some of them might not be able to understand what you are teaching, and at the end of the day, the parents will not see the impact of what you have taught the children.
Our guest baker today is a pleasant and creative sugarcraft artist. Hadiza Yaman Abdulkader is an indigene of Bida, Niger State. Born into the family of engineer Yaman Nupe on the 21st of August 1982, she had her early education at Mao Primary School in Minna, Niger State from 1989 to 1994. Hadiza attended Federal Government College, Kwali in Abuja, where she obtained a senior secondary school certificate from 1994 to 2000. This gentle and meticulous baker also bagged a diploma and bachelor degree in business administration, both at the University of Abuja in 2002 and 2006 respectively. Hadiza Yaman Abdulkader is a self-taught baker who has been able to develop amazing recipes by reading wide and experimenting what she learned on her own. Hadiza put together her childhood experience in the kitchen, plus her passion for baking, and turned these into a viable baking business in 2012. As a result of her compelling desire for raising young generations of bakers, Hadiza Abdulkader published My Skills to Adulthood, a children's training guideline book. She has trained over 100 children in summer classes in 4 years. Her brand, Cravings and Bites, has come up with creative and appealing designs in sugarcraft for milestone celebrations within and outside Abuja. She is happily married to Sule Abdulkader and blessed with 3 children. Join us as we take our chats with this intelligent and patient baker, Hadiza Yaman Abdulkader.
You're welcome back. You're still watching Baker's World on NTA. Our guest baker is here with me. Madam, it's a pleasure to have you on Baker's World.
My pleasure to meet you too.
You studied business administration in school. So I guess it's not so far-fetched that you will want to own your own business. Now, tell me, why did you decide that owning a baking business is the way to go for you?
Actually, since when I was a child, I've always explored the kitchen because I spent most of my holidays with my grandmom, and she always put us through doing a lot of things in the kitchen. My mom also read food and nutrition in her university days, so she had a lot of cookery books. Sometimes I pick those books and try to practice 1 or 2 recipes on my own. And it was interesting when I finish practicing a recipe and it comes out good, especially the baking aspect. After my service year, the cake business was trending, and it was something I actually wanted to do too. So I ventured into baking.
I know you love training children, and you know that's not always very easy. Tell me, share with me your experience and what inspired you to start training children in how to bake?
Actually, there was a friend of mine who told me her daughter always wants to learn how to bake. And she told me if I could take her one-on-one training at home. And I told her to bring her daughter over. So I trained her and she was happy with the outcome. So from there, I felt since she has already brought her daughter, it was an opportunity that I could train other kids too. I think it's part of me too, to teach other people just like my mom does. I'm always choosing my recipes. Most times I try to pick recipes that will be easy for them to do at their age. And then I make sure they do the practical skill. In that way, it will be easy for them to repeat those skills when they get home.
There is a lot of restriction on social gathering and events due to the COVID-19 pandemic. How is business in this period for bakers?
People are ordering cakes because most times kids like eating outside. They like buying things from the cafeterias, from canteens. And now that they are at home, they cannot lay their hands on those shops. They still order cakes to eat at home with the family because you can't take sweet things away from children. And children always look up to the date of their birthday. And parents won't want them to have a birthday without a cake. Even if it's a small size cake, they are ordering, but it couldn't be as big as it would be at the normal time, but they still have a cake to cut for their birthday. It's been normal to me.
You're making for us a geometric pattern cake. And I've seen the design. It looks like it comes with a lot of pattern, a lot of details. What inspired you to make this type of cake? And on what occasion do people order for this type of cake?
Actually, the cake has a lot of details, and I'm someone who likes to make cakes that have lots of details in them because it will actually bring out the creativity in you. The cake can be used to celebrate an Eid occasion. It's actually a geometric cake, but the pattern is an Islamic pattern cake too. You could use them to celebrate Eid and then, or to mark an occasion, an opening ceremony in a mosque or some other Islamic functions too.
Tell me about what you're going to be using to achieve all the intricate patterns on this design.
We have edible prints, then we have molds, we have the gold highlighter. You need a shaped pan to actually achieve that particular shape too.
What would be your advice for bakers out there today? How should they conduct business in this period? And also in terms of keeping hygiene and keeping the treats and cakes they make safe for consumers.
Bakers need to step up with hygiene practices because it's you are making something which is a consumable good, and consumables are actually supposed to be made under hygiene environment. But at this time, they should really take it seriously. They should ensure they wash their hands regularly. You should keep your surfaces and environment very clean. They should keep their machines and other utensils used very clean. You should also take transfers and not cash at this period, so you don't have hand contact with your customers, except on cases where transfers cannot be made. I would advise delivery at this point, where your delivery agent would sanitize properly and drop for them, so you would minimize the number of customers that come to have direct contact with you.
Thank you so much. It's truly an inspiring conversation.
Thank you too.
That was our conversation with the CEO of Cravings and Bite, Mrs. Hadiza Yaman Abdulkadir. But before we go back to decorate our cake, we have Baker's Gist on the lineup for you. Please enjoy it.
Just the way we've been we've been reminded on a constant basis, on a daily basis, of all the safety measures we need to put in place. The bakers are also inclusive, for them to keep to those safety measures. Safety measures that we're talking about, the washing of hands, the physical, or we'll call it social or physical distancing, that we need to put in place, and then the wearing of our masks when we need to go out. Take, for example, bakers, they need to go and buy their products, maybe in the market. The marketplaces are crowded, so they need to put on their mask in order to protect themselves from being infected. We're talking about community infection these days, so that will now curb them from having any infection that they might even take home to where they are, or even to their offices where they need to do their work. While you are doing your baking, or while you are preparing your dough, or whatever you are preparing in order to continue with what you are doing, at times you have a helper that will want to help you. We are talking about physical distancing this time around. We'll say between 1.5 meters or 2 meters away. Just the way me and you are sitting down now. I'm not using my mask, because the coronavirus, as we said, is a droplet infection. It can't go beyond that. So when I'm talking now, or I happen to, I'm talking to you, if there's any droplets, it falls. It doesn't go beyond that distance. So I can afford not to use my mask. But when you have a helper helping you, the person is close to you, you have to put on your mask. At times, people might react to maybe the flour or whatever material you are using, and then want to sneeze or cough or something. We should always remember, just the way we've been told, you sneeze or cough into your elbow, because we are talking about the virus on our hands. By the time you finish all your work and you've packaged everything you do, you finish baking and everything, you still wash your hands, you carry your cake, you put in, you package it. The person that is even going to collect that from you also need to wash hands in this period. You wash your hands, you dry it before you carry. The measures they can put in when customers are coming. Some people might put a sort of marking from where the customer service area is, and where the person that will come and collect your delivery, where the person will be, at least a meter difference. Maybe they'll have to construct whatever, that type of table and delivery box that they normally stay in. Where you put your thing, you can easily push, the person can long the hand and pick. So no, that contact is still away. You carry your goods and you go. If you are calling in a delivery person to come and collect, same thing. The distance, we still have to maintain that distance.
Our hexagon-shaped cake is out of the oven. We'll need to cover it with fondant. But before we do that, we'll crumb coat our cake with butter icing to enable the fondant stay on the body of the cake. So you apply butter icing and spread it over all around the cake. You would apply butter icing on the other layer too. Now we roll our fondant. We set this aside and roll our fondant for covering. once a day. To stack a 2-tier cake, you need to dough the base layer. You insert a dowel rod. You make a mark on your dowel rod, and then you bring it out and cut. Break and insert the dowel. After doweling, you could now add up your top tier. Most times I use a paper plate underneath, so you could hold your cake and your hand will not sink into the cake. Or you could use a stacking board, then you place. To make a geometric pattern cake, we actually need our pattern, geometric pattern. You could download it from an internet, you pick your desired pattern and have it printed out on edible sheets. Be careful not to apply excess glue, as that will wet the paper. Then you attach the paper to it. And cut this out neatly. Excess fondant. You end up having this with your fondant at the back, which you would attach to the cake. You apply glue to the surface where you would attach the pattern. Then you attach your pattern. You continue this process until all sides are covered. You want to cover the topmost tier of the cake. Roll out our fondant. We will continue with the decoration of our cake. Add the topmost part. We will start with the base pattern. We would attach a glue as usual. To have the shiny gold effect, you would need an edible spirit and a gold highlighter. We are done with our geometric pattern cake. I'm sure you all love the designs.
Wow, this is such a beautiful cake. I love it. Well done. In fact, when she was doing this cake, every time I think she's through, she keeps adding another layer, adding another pattern. It's just beautiful. Don't you agree? But despite everything, we still must taste this cake and see how it tastes inside. So let's have it. Fantastic, fantastic. This is just delicious. Even the red marble on it is very beautiful. I love it. Well done once again. I'm sure you've learned one or two things from our baker's creativity. That's all we have for you today on Baker's World. Till next week, when we come your way with a more exciting episode of Baker's World, you can reach us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's Baker's World on NTA. Till next week, my name is Funke Oyele. Thanks for watching.
The truth of the matter is that you do not have two sunrises in one day, even in Africa.
But the good thing is for us to forgive and forget.
History will take care of everything.
My name is Baba Kingibe.
On behalf of the federal government, I tender the nation's apology to the family of late MKO Abiola.
To the authorities for investigation.
The truth of the matter is that you do not have two sunrises in one day, even in Africa.
But the good thing is for us to forgive and forget.
History will take care of everything.
My name is Baba Kingibe.
On behalf of the federal government, I tender the nation's apology to the family of late MKO Abiola.
I am Elizabeth Abai. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us today. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama and it's nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We start with the economy. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has formally submitted to President Muhammadu Buhari a compendium titled Bouncing Back, the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan. The report by the Economic Sustainability Committee, headed by the Vice President, recommends far-reaching measures towards converting prevailing crisis occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic to a victory for the Nigerian economy. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The report is a product of wide consultations and inputs from the Economic Advisory Committee, 36 state governors, and leadership of the National Assembly. It also took into account the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, report of the Economic Crisis Committee, the Finance Act 2019, CBN proposals, as well as the National Economic Council report on the COVID-19 crisis. Chairman of the Economic Sustainability Committee and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who submitted the report, said the key to the success of the plan is faithful implementation.
We are confident that if the proposals are taken as a whole and implemented consensuously, Nigeria will avert the worst of the impending economic headwinds and convert this crisis to a victory for the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian people.
Hinged on President Buhari's mantra to produce what we eat and consume what we produce, the report recommends mass agricultural and housing programs to create millions of new jobs, extensive public works and road construction program using locally available materials, as well as the installation of solar home system targeting 5 million households, serving the 25 million Nigerians not connected to the national grid.
We have also recommended support for local production and manufacturing of all that is possible, including technology applications, software, shoes, garments, steel fabrication, ceramics, and furniture, with the required capital and essential machinery. We've also recommended the provision of ample support for the informal sector through low-interest loans, support for MSMEs, especially in assisting to restructure their loans with banks, the expansion of the social investment program through an increase in the number of cash transfer beneficiaries, an increase in the number of NPower volunteers, and sundry traders enjoying small and micro loans to cover a large number of the extremely poor.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who applauded the Economic Sustainability Committee for completing what he called the critical national assignment in good time, expressed the belief that with the help of God and high sense of duty to posterity, Nigeria will successfully reset her economy for a brighter future.
As we go forward, we must chart a new course and remain steadfast. I believe the priorities contained in this plan present a practical way of achieving our desire of a truly competitive economy that can support our people and secure our future.
President Buhari saluted Nigerians for their resilience in adapting to the realities of the COVID-19 effects while continuing to recognize the superhuman efforts of the frontline health workers who continue to play a critical role in keeping the country and the people safe.
We have a great work ahead of us. Government revenues have diminished considerably, largely due to the fall in oil prices. So, we must prepare for difficult times while government continues to seek ways to implement what I consider a national plan.
The ultimate objective of the Economic Sustainability Plan is to provide succor to Nigerians, taking into account the dangers posed to the economy by the global economic slowdown. Several projections show that if Nigeria fails to take prompt preemptive measures, unemployment may rise to 3.6% by the end of 2020. Millions more will fall into extreme poverty, and depending on the strength of the economic response, GDP may also fall to between minus 4.40% and minus 8.91%. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And a final investment decision, FID, of over $10 billion to reform the Nigerian oil and gas sector, as well as the expected passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill to further attract investors are some of the landmark achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, made remarks on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while evaluating 5 years of Buhari's administration in the industry. Over now to Oluseye Adeabu.
Because we are in the process of passing a law, everybody took a sit-down-look approach. And because of this attitude, no additional investment was attracted to the country for a long time. With the Buhari administration, a lot is now going on right in that direction. We've gotten a draft of the PIB, which is, I believe, very acceptable and the most credible version that has been produced since then.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva, explained that with the deregulation of the downstream sector and subsidy removal, expectations are high for more investments, especially from the private sector.
Today, if subsidy is out, then nobody has that excuse anymore. So we are expecting to see a lot of growth in the refining sector as well.
Though Nigeria is not immune to the global oil downturn, legislators on the program are optimistic that the passing of the Petroleum Industrial Bill will address perceived loose ends.
With the law, with the PIB, maybe we'll have more investors come back. Those independents that sold and left, even the big majors will explore more. So we'll probably have managed our upstream very well.
The improvement and achievement we are seeing in the last 5 years is the seeming transparency and willingness to carry major stakeholders, including the National Assembly, along. They have been telling us we are at this level, we are at that level, which we had never had before.
Professor of Petroleum Economics, Wumi Ilida, identified some challenges in the industry and preferred solutions.
Until we think about that subsidy where we burn about 1/4 of our budget at the tailpipe, there's no way in which the midstream can be profitable.
The guests also added that the petroleum industry reform should be about adding value and not just on how to make money. In Abuja, Oluseye Adeagbo, NTA News.
The Senate has passed the revised 2020 budget of 10.810 trillion naira, of which 2.9 trillion naira is for debt servicing, 4.9 trillion for recurrent expenditure, while 2.4 trillion goes to capital expenditure. The amendment of the budget was necessitated by the impact of COVID-19 on global economy. Senate has confirmed the appointments of Justice Monica Dongban Memse as President, Court of Appeal, and James Jia Kolo as Commissioner of the Federal Character Commission. 42 ambassadorial nominees were also confirmed as career ambassadors designate. Meanwhile, Senate has urged the federal government to direct the Nigerian Armed Forces to beef up security personnel and equipment in Borno North Senatorial District following the recent attack that led to the death of over 80 persons in Gubio District by Boko Haram. And still on security, the House of Representatives is holding a special session with security chiefs for a brief on the state of security across Nigeria. Before the meeting went into closed door, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila commended the service chiefs for what they have done so far. He added that lawmakers are not happy because constituents are wary, considering the recent spike of security breaches in parts of the country. He said the meeting is meant to chart a way forward. In the meantime,